Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video, I have some ret updates for everybody, and it is not going to be a very positive video, let's put it that way. So this week, there's going to be some raid testing. We expected that there would be some pretty big changes coming up, and there were. And this latest build came out Wednesday evening, and yeah, ret definitely got hit in a very strange way from this, and we're going to get into that, and it's going to be probably a fairly negative video here. Let's go ahead and pull up the actual stuff here first for the changes in the blue post, okay? So I'll just read this to you. For Paladin, Blessing of Spell Warding is now a protection Paladin only talent. The rest of this doesn't really matter. On the beta here, it's still there, but clearly they're trying to get rid of this. This is gigantic nerf. Why? Because for for a lot of big AoE stuff, for example, right? It's like spell damage. It's some sort of a shadow damage or frost damage or something like that. And Bop isn't really useful for that. Now Bop is useful sometimes, but what Blessing and Spell Warding did is it allowed us to choose based on what content we're doing. Do we need a physical immune or a spell immune? And they are removing that. So this is a pretty big deal. Spell warding could also go on other players, so you could use this for like your tanks and stuff like that too. And they are just getting rid of it. I understand their reasoning why. It might be on this other page. Their reasoning why might be actually decent in just that you could stack a bunch of paladins and bring spell wardings and make it so they can't design raid fights very well, because normally you would only have at the most 2 prot paladins in your raid group. So at the most you would have 2 spelled wardings, but you could have 2 prot pallies, 2 holy pallies, and a ret and have 5 spell wardings, and that can make it very hard to balance a fight. I get that, but this is still a huge nerf to ret paladin. There's no doubt about that. So that's the first thing. Spell warding. Now here's some more changes here in the blue post. Developers know playtesting has revealed ret pallies have too much holy power, essentially, is what this says. And they changed some stuff around and moved some stuff and tuned some stuff to try to accommodate that. This is true. There was tons of holy power, but it was mostly because of the sanctification talent and getting the procs that drop the consecration down with your Blade of Wrath. And instead of doing anything with that, because that's their new talent, they screwed with everything else, which is extremely terrible. So Zeal and Empyrean Power have swapped places, so we can look at that real quick. Empyrean Power is now way up here. Zeal is down here above Tempest for AoE. So you have to take Empyrean Power if you want to go down the left side at all, which you need to at some point. Now, you technically could get to Execution Sentence and stuff if you wanted to go that build without going down there, I guess. So you don't have to take Empyrean Power. But if you want to get Righteous Verdict, you do have to take Empyrean Power. But I do suppose you don't technically have to, and you could make a build around that without taking Empyrean Power. What would you really lose? Yeah, I mean, you could do a right side build. Let's be honest. It would focus a lot on Blade of Wrath damage, though. So they moved that. Zeal is now down here. And yeah, we'll get to the next one is the biggest problem, probably. Blade of Wrath. Art of War reset has been changed to 50%, was 100%. So this Blade of Wrath talent here. So now your Art of War only does, 50% more often instead of 100% more often. Which means, what does that mean? You're getting less. So Ashes to Ashes is pretty much a must-take talent. It probably still is, but it's nerfed considerably. Why? Because we're going to be getting less Art of War procs, and then therefore less Wake of Ashes, or Ashes to Ashes, Seraphim procs. Less Seraphins. We also get less Consecrated Blades, which tries to solve this holy power issue with Sanctification here. And, they're basically trying to fix a problem they created and doing it in a very ham-handed way. Final Verdict, nerfed. Reset Hammer of Wrath, 10% was 15. Reduce the holy power of the sanctification talent that I was just talking about. Final Verdict, damage reduced by 6%. Righteous Verdict, damage bonus effect reduced by 10%. That's this talent here. It was 15%, now it's 5. Divine Protect, this is an old one. Divine Protection's been added, 2-minute cooldown. Of course, ours is longer, even though we don't have other stuff. This is all old. I think this is all old stuff down. I think this was all the new stuff. So, the biggest, it's not good, first of all. Execution Sentence, it wasn't in their patch notes there, or maybe it was further down. Execution Sentence is supposed to be able to crit now. It currently does not crit on the beta. Also, there is spell warding on the beta, and they're getting rid of that. So this beta build does not have everything that's in their patch notes or whatever. So it means it's probably coming. It's in a later beta build, whatever. Execution Sentence still does not crit. What's going to happen is when Execution Sentence can crit, it's likely going to overtake other talents down here. As far as like, so for example, a good build right now is you can actually just go with Vanguard's Momentum, Divine Toll, Divine Resonance. So down those two for single target even. And that's a really good build. And it's still a solid build. But when Execution Sentence can crit, it'll likely surpass that. When Execution Sentence needs to crit, it also buffs. Oh, I didn't even talk about another. There's another big change. I don't know why their patch notes were so jumbled like that. But Crusade is now a 2-minute cooldown. So I did a 3-minute build video. Now that video is completely worthless, of course. It's now a 2-minute cooldown instead of a 3-minute cooldown. So that's a buff to Crusade in general. However, if you need to play Execution Sentence, you might need the crit from Might, the 20% crit from Might. Because if your Execution Sentence doesn't crit, it's worse than these other things. So you're going to need your Execution Sentence to crit. Let's say you get 4, let's just say you get 4 Execution Sentences on a fight. You're going to need 3 or 4 of them to crit, or else the other build with the current tuning is better. So it's actually a buff to Avenging Wrath Might. Sanctified Wrath makes your wings last longer, and we can extend our wings. However, if all of your damage you're worried about is in your Execution Sentence, Divine Purpose can actually be a better talent there. So then you might not even take Sanctified Wrath. Which, you know, which is fine. I mean, I like Divine Purpose a little bit, but it's just basically all of these changes are quality of life and utility nerfs. So the utility nerf mostly being the spell warding being gone, right? We lose one of our defenses. We use something useful that we have for other people in the raid if they need it, and that's a huge nerf. As far as quality of life nerfs, the Blade of Wrath. So we get less Art of War procs, we get less Seraphim, we get less everything just because of this stupid Sanctification talent, which they nerfed anyways. On top of it, we get everything else nerfed. But by making, if they do make Execution Sentence crit, which they very well could just take that away, that again, kind of like, even though they brought Crusade down to 2 minutes, it kind of makes the Might even better. I've been on Team Might a little bit as it is, but it kind of makes that better because you need your Execution Sentence to crit if you're taking it. If it can crit and you're taking it, you need it to crit. And then again, down here, Sanctified Wrath is great, but if getting an extra Templar's Verdict or 2 or something into your Execution Sentence, that becomes a lot more valuable. Because you don't care about the extra 5 seconds of your wings, because this thing only lasts like 16 seconds at the max if you like super game it. So it doesn't matter in that case. So this is all generally just not fun changes. Some of the way they swap the things, like I said, Empyrean Power being up here just feels weird. They purposely put Zeal up there because they felt like it was like a necessary talent to make Ashes to Ashes work. And now you've put it with a choice node. So now people who don't know what they're doing may not take Zeal and get, especially with the nerf to Art of War, it's befuddling, frankly, that you would move Zeal down here and put it on a choice node. So if you're worried, so one person suggested in the Ret Discord that it's because somebody could take Divine Storm or not take Divine Storm in theory, even though it's right here. Somebody could not. It's not even possible. You have to take Divine Storm to get down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, that's not even possible. That's not even a thing. So yeah, that's whatever that was suggested. It's not even true. It doesn't make any sense. They buried Zeal now on a choice node. People aren't going to know to take it. Maybe their goal is to nerf Ashes to Ashes to the Dust, and then we just don't take that. And then we have to take Seraphim instead, and that's an overall nerf, because now we have to take the ability that we were getting passively and lose out on an ability that we were getting on top of it. They're basically making the spec not fun to play, would be my thing, because what it was, when I was doing all these dungeons on the beta here, they were fun. Like, yeah, Ret was super powerful, and that makes it fun too. But I was having fun playing it because I could generally play a little bit of a multitude of talents, and it was just kind of fun gameplay. And they basically nerfed the fun parts of it. So I could see a world where we have to hardcast our Seraphim again, and we have to play Execution Sentence, and we have to do all these things that absolutely suck and that nobody wants to do, and they're weaker versions than what we played. Imagine playing the same way as Season 1 Shadowlands with Pelagos or whatever, but you don't have Ringing Clarity. So it's just a less fun, crappier version of what the beginning of Shadowlands was. We also don't have Spell Warding. We do have Divine Protection. That is one positive change. But it's basically a crappier version of Shadowlands Season 1 right now. And that doesn't feel good. It was, what I kept telling you guys, it's very similar to Shadowlands Season 4, the playstyle. And like, in some ways it still is, right? In some ways it still is. But the biggest thing by that is it's kind of just fun to play. Like, it felt good to play. And these changes are heading down the path of making it not fun to play. Because they're saying, oh no, we want you to use all this consecration crap. We'll just nerf the crap out of everything else, so you have to use it. And then we'll put these talents in stupid places where you have to take them. And Ret just won't be any fun to play at all. Why would you have fun playing a spec? Why would you want to have fun? Why is this terrible? Because we get no feedback from whoever does Ret stuff. There's no direct feedback from whoever's doing it. None. We've gotten zero. No explanations, no nothing. Nothing. This is absolutely garbage. I'm so annoyed right now because it's just less fun to play. The damage is still currently fine. We're going to get destroyed in tuning. That's what I was saying the nerfs were going to come. We're going to get destroyed in tuning by damage. Our damage is going to go down considerably. We're going to have crap damage and not be fun to play because they don't know what they're doing when they're designing the spec. They have no idea. They see these new talents and like, oh, we got to make these new talents work. Right here, Ashes to Dust. That's also nerfed by the Blade of Wrath nerf, or whatever, the Art of War Blade of Wrath nerf. Ashes is nerfed. Maybe they're like, well, we want you to take Radiant Decree. Okay, Radiant Decree kind of sucks right now, so you better tune the living hell out of it so it's worth taking then. It's like, and even then, it's not as fun. It's not as fun to play because it just doesn't fit in the way the spec's designed. If you're not going to redesign the spec, you can't just hodgepodge other abilities in that don't make sense with the spec. The spec has to be redesigned. If it's going to be around consecration, which has nothing to do with holy power, if it's going to be around having multiple spenders that you have to choose which one you're going to use, then first of all, we do kind of need the excess holy power in some ways, because it's not just one button we're pressing. We're pressing Radiant Decree, but we need to hurry up and press that Divine Storm still to synergize with all of the Divine Storm talents like Tempest and Sanctify and stuff like that. And so like we don't have any like it's like you're trying to hodgepodge these abilities in without redoing anything with the spec. It's like, here's Shadowlands Ret. We've added some crap into it. We've nerfed your Shadowlands stuff and other stuff to make the new crap a little bit better. And yeah, good luck. None of it fits together, but good luck. So this is complete crap. I am not excited right now to play Ret. Maybe when Execution Sentence can crit, if they put that in, maybe I'll like randomly think that's fun for a while. Although without the Holy Avenger for the 3-minute build, it does not feel as good to play Execution Sentence just in general, as far as building up your holy power and stuff. So it doesn't feel as good, for sure, to do. So that's an issue for sure. But I don't know. I'm not completely doom on it. I'm just like, okay, utility, spell warding's gone. Less fun to play. How am I supposed to be positive about that? Less utility, less fun to play. Maybe the damage will still be really good. Maybe they won't destroy us in tuning on damage, which I highly doubt. And like there's still things that are completely broken. Like exorcism still sucks. You take exorcism, and some people are using it for single target and stuff. I don't care. It sucks. Exorcism is terrible. It's a wasted button. It doesn't do anything with holy power. Once again, it's a hodgepodge ability thrown in. It has nothing to do with holy power, but it's still on the GCD. It's a wasted GCD essentially. That's something that you might have to press if it's tuned enough to where you need to press it. Absolutely terrible button to press. Doesn't feel good at all. And then we have this ability over here, touch of light. This does nothing right now still. This does absolutely nothing. It literally doesn't do anything. So whoever made this talent, whoever's doing this talent, whoever's in charge of this, literally isn't looking at it. They literally have not looked at this and said, oh, this does almost 0 damage. Maybe I should change that. It's like, I guess you have to have a brain to do this. I don't know, man. I'm not usually this hard on people, but it's like, how can you make it less survival, less utility, less fun to play, not fix the crap that's broke, make the hodgepodge stuff more important, make the good stuff people like crappier. It's not looking good. If you have any reservations on playing Ret, yeah, I would definitely have those reservations. If you still haven't ordered Dragonflight and you're a Ret main, you know, I would definitely keep waiting before I bought if I were you, for sure. Because the way this is tracking, because we haven't got the damage nerf yet, the way this is tracking is to be complete shit. So, sorry for this negative video again. This second time I've had to do a negative video. Like, I can't even worry about how bad the Divine Seed is, right? They're still never going to fix that. Divine Seed is just going to be shit still, no matter what. So, yeah, if you like Ret, you know, screw you, I guess. That's it for this one, guys. I will try to be testing. Not that it's going to be mattering much. I'm going to try to be testing at some point this week in the raids. I'll try to get videos on that and stuff. I'm still going to be trying my best. I'm not planning on changing mains yet, although it's definitely in the cards at this point. But yeah, it's just a depressing day, honestly. It's hard not to be doom about it. I don't want to be. It's just hard not to be, because there's nothing good here. Nothing got made better. Like, Execution Sentence can crit. Okay, but nobody really wants to play Execution Sentence. Nobody really wants to play Execution Sentence. So, I've taken RNG crit. Hopefully I crit 3 out of 4 times. Hopefully I crit, 3 out of 5 times. Whatever. A majority of times during a fight. So that way the other build isn't actually better. And if you don't crit more often than you don't, then no one's gonna play it anyways. It doesn't matter if it can crit, because if you're only critting one every 4 or something like that, 1 every 3, whatever it may be, it's not gonna be worth playing. So why bother? So we'll see what tuning brings us, because yeah, it's just a joke, man. I don't know how else to end this video. I'm just kind of sad. So I do always ask everyone to please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody have a good one.